Dear law students from Belo Horizonte, Marcelo Galuppo has asked me to make a few remarks on the actual impact Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel has on today's legal philosophy and problems. I'm happy to do this, especially since you've made so nice remarks about my lecture a couple of years ago to Marcelo Galuppo. Well, first of all, next year, 200 years ago, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel published his book Grundlinien einer Philosophie des Rechts, Naturrecht und Staatswissenschaften im Umriss. Basic lines of legal philosophy, natural law, and sciences of the state. Even the title is very remarkable. Up until then, with the only exception of Gustav Hugo, our discipline, legal philosophy, was not called philosophy of law, but natural law. And the change is not only a change of names, but also a change of the concept. If you look at the introduction of his philosophy of law, exactly if you look into the foreword, different from the Kantian approach, Hegel's approach does not look for the transcendental conditions of the possibility to think about law, but he wants to analyze the positive law. Not in a sense Gustav Hugo gave the word. He simply accepted positive law as it is, and tried to systematize it. Sorry, this was an interruption. So Gustav Hugo merely analyzed positive law, systematized it, and that was it. Different from this approach, Hegel tried to find the reason in reality, which is quite different. It is an true idealistic approach. Positive law should be analyzed with regard to its potentials. The differences between Gustav Hugo and Hegel become apparent if we look at the problem of slavery. Gustav Hugo, by the way, the teacher of the famous Friedrich Karl von Savigny, accepted and even justified to some extent slavery. He found it in the Roman law. Now, if we look at the passages in Hegel's philosophy of law, we can see that he observes that there is slavery. There was slavery in Rome, and in some of his contemporary countries, there still is slavery. Now, is this reasonable? As Hegel says, law is an existence of freedom. An existence of freedom that, since the French Revolution, is open to all men, not only a few, as the aristocratic models suggested in medieval times. Slavery prevents groups of people from participating in a form of social relationship that is adequate to their potential to be free, adequate, therefore, to their human dignity. And since slavery is counter to this potential of contemporary law, it is unreasonable, unjustified, and therefore shouldn't be law. So based on Hegel's concept, we have the possibility to criticize slavery. And not only slavery. In lines that resemble pretty much what Karl Marx later says, he also criticizes some forms of labor where the work is split into so many parts that the individual worker cannot achieve a consciousness of the result of his work. The result then is an estrangement of the most personal thing a worker has to give, his labor force. And Hegel strongly criticizes this and asks for means to integrate the whole worker and his consciousness into his work. So this was only a few short example, slavery, labor force, to exemplify that Hegel has not lost his importance. However, I think the most important thing in Hegelian philosophy is the training of the mind, the training of our thoughts. When studying the dialectical form of Hegel's philosophy, we can train our thinking in a way that very few other philosophies provide. So even if it is difficult reading, please indulge in it. In the end, it will be fun, especially reading the legal philosophy of Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Well, I hope to see you soon, sometime, somewhere. Take care, and please, given the desperate situation of coronavirus, especially in Brazil, please stay healthy and save the political system in Brazil against ignorance, if I may say so. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.